The relevance of shaft flex to lead lag is you can have three players that have three completely different acceleration forces coming into impact. Let's take the high handicap player swinging at 95 miles an hour that casts the club early. They can have a 10-degree launch, 2,500 spin at 135 miles an hour of ball velocity. Then you have the standard player who releases mid, squares, has the exact same launch conditions, and then you have the player who swings inside out and has lag and releases in the same launch conditions. If you hand one of those players the other player's clubs, they can't hit them, and the reason is shaft flex. The way to think about it is pretty simple. The higher your acceleration rate is, the stiffer your shaft needs to be. So in that scenario, if you're swinging at 95 miles an hour and you're casting, you've got a very inefficient swing. But as you have an inefficient swing, you can actually get away with a more flexible shaft because you're not loading that shaft. The shaft is actually unloaded by the time you come into impact. If you have an extreme amount of lag coming into impact, you actually need a much stiffer shaft than you would suggest at the 95 mile an hour club head speed. You more than likely need an extra stiff. And if you have a standard swing, you can probably get away with an S-flex. The best way to analyze lag for the average player is through high-speed video analysis. Phones are great. Your smartphone can capture now up to 120 frames per second. Put it on a tripod or have your friend video it, and you can take a look at your swing. If you notice your wrists are releasing early, then more than likely, regardless of your club head speed, you can get away with a weaker shaft. If you're coming in and holding that club till the end, you need a stiffer shaft. It will help you as far as velocity minimally, probably 1 to 2 miles an hour, but what's going to be more important is your accuracy. One of the things that happens in all golf swings, whether you have lag or casting, is we all have a tendency under pressure of swinging too hard or jerking on the club. And under those pressure situations, you want to make sure that you have the right flex for your acceleration profile. So remember, if you have a swing that you're taking a look at on video in which you see your arms releasing early, you can more than likely get away with a more flexible shaft, a regular flex or even a senior flex. If you have a swing that kind of squares your arm coming into impact, a standard swing, then you're more than likely at 95 miles an hour to be fine with an S-flex shaft. If you see on your swing, you're coming in and you're holding this angle as your left arm almost at address, returning to address, you more than likely need an extra stiff shaft in order to help maximize your consistency. And what I mean by consistency is we all have a tendency, especially under pressure, of swinging faster and jerking at the ball. And what you want to make sure is, based on your acceleration, and we've detailed it, 3 examples of the same velocity but different accelerations, your shaft flex is going to be critical to that consistency of delivering that club head, especially under pressure.